What's up, anime fans? This is Chris for CeeManga here with a little unofficial, quick thank you videos for all the new subscribers that have joined the channel, as well as thanking the old ones for sticking around with us. We're gonna do a proper thank you videos, a bit later on with the full CeeManga crew, but this is an official one by me. Anyway, I'm gonna review this week's chapter of Bleach, which is Bleach chapter 514, Born in the Darkness. A really cool chapter. I enjoyed it a lot. The conspiracies are starting to build now. I can imagine everyone's having, discussions or crazy theories now, been based on this chapter. But anyway, let's get right into it. So, we pick up where we left off last week, the fight between Ichigo and Juhabach. Juhabach actually jumps back and says, that was a mistake. And then Ichigo, I think he's kind of, obviously Ichigo being as he is, slightly cocky, he's like, what, it's a mistake that I was able to dodge your attack? And he's like, no, it's a mistake that I let Kurage fight you. And then we go into this whole, backstory of everything. Like, he explains that Kurge is a pure-blooded Quincy, and that, his ability, the jail ability is meant to, ensnare or trap the enemies, and Quincy's aren't enemies. So, the moment he said that, I was like, oh my god, okay, Ichigo is a Quincy hybrid. And then, it goes into more detail now. But before that, even, like, to confirm what he saw in Ichigo's neck, he actually went to attack him again, and he ripped off Ichigo's sleeve. And then, it shows the full blood veins running through his forearm, basically. And then, he's like, okay, this guy is definitely using Quincy abilities. So we get the whole explanation that, while Ichigo was in Kurge's jail, he kept on, releasing Rietsu to try and break out of it. But then his Rietsu would kind of like draw in Kurge's Rietsu, which is obviously pure-blooded Quincy Chris, and then it'll come back into him, and that somehow reawaken his latent Quincy abilities. I'm going to go into more detail, after the summary about that. Got a few theories or a bit of like plot holes with that. Anyway, so yeah, that kind of awakened his Quincy's ability, which allowed him to eventually break out of Kurge's jail because it's not meant to trap Quincy's. Yeah, and then Joe Butler's like, okay, I should have probably sent some random hollows to try and stop you or fire you. Anyway, so he continues his assault and says, you know what, I'm gonna take you down, I'm gonna drag you back to the Vandal Ridge with me. So he goes to attack Ichigo again, and then out of nowhere, the shadow teleportation thing, he basically straps him, basically is drawing Juhabach back to the Vandal Ridge. And he says that, oh, I thought I had more time, something must be wrong. And then Hachiwell says, we better go back to the Vandal Ridge, basically, sir. And there was a name for it called the Shadow Territory. That's what it's translated in English. So I guess he needs to be in there I guess he can't be out of the Shadow Territory for a certain period of time. It's like a time limit where he can only, be outside of it. So he says, okay, you better go off now. And then he said he thought he had more time, but I think the meeting with Aizen, messed his perception of time up. So where he thought he had more time, actually he had like less and less time. So basically, so he commented on how Aizen must have been the one that messed up his, interpretation of time. Anyway, so he was walking back to the portal now to go back to the Vandal Ridge. Ichigo obviously, saying, okay, where you going? Now, this isn't the first time Ichigo's done this. Done to Grindr as well. Like, where you going? Not finished here. You think I'm gonna let you leave after what you've done with Soul Society? And then, Juhabach didn't really pay him any attention. He kept on walking. So Ichigo charged at both of them, and then Hachiwell, literally cut Ichigo's Zanpakuto in half. Basically, just cut the blade, and you can see the shock on Ichigo's face, thinking this guy's a small fry, but obviously he's not. So I knew this guy was strong from ages ago, but he just confirmed in this chapter that he cut Ichigo's Zanpakuto with this one slice. Showed how much of a badass or how powerful this guy actually is. So that put Ichigo in his place. He stopped mid-track, not doing anything in shock. And then Juhabach turned around and said, I'm going to come back for you in time. And then, farewell, Ichigo Kurosaki, my son born in darkness. Now, I'm like, why did he call him my son? That could probably be, figure of speech. He doesn't really mean he's his biological son. But at the moment, who knows? But I can't believe I even skipped over this. Yeah, it was confirmed that Ichigo's mom is a Quincy, like basically. Like Juhabach actually mentioned that, you know nothing about your mom, not even that she was a Quincy. So that's Ichigo is a Quincy Shinigami hybrid. If Ishin is really his dad and his mom is a Quincy, then he's half Quincy, half Shinigami. This whole hollow thing obviously only came about because when Ichigo was, gaining his Shinigami powers back again, he became a hollow for a brief period of time, which, left a hollow inside of him. So yeah, I think Ichigo is strictly a Quincy and Shinigami hybrid. So that's what this chapter is basically saying. And now the crazy speculations have begun about, the whole Ichigo's mom and Ishin thing. Why they leave society? They leave because he was with a Quincy. Who is Jiroboch? How is Jiroboch related to Ichigo? Why does he want him so much? Why did he call him my son? What the hell's going on? So, everything's up in the air again at the moment. Good chapter, but a lot of my only, confusion about this whole Ichigo being a Quincy thing. It says that, is Quincy Rietsu awakened because he was around, pure-blooded Quincy, but Ishida is a pure-blooded Quincy. And they've been together, they've been on missions, they've been on battles for a long time now, and then suddenly now it's only allowed to awaken. I think his Quincy's ability should have started surfacing like a few chapters ago, or maybe like, hundreds of chapters back. But, whatever. So, yeah, my thoughts on chapter, it was really cool. I kind of saw Ichigo mom being a Quincy, coming basically the moment that we saw the blood vein on his neck. I'm like, okay, it had to be his mom because we know nothing about his mom. That's the only logical explanation. Um, Theories about next chapter, I don't really have none at the moment. Like, obviously, we're gonna get, the calm down period. After the troops of the Vandermeer leave Soul Society, we're gonna get, everyone's gonna come back together. They're gonna see the casualty list, who's dead, who's alive. And I want to see that confirmed that who's actually alive and who's dead is Byakuya has to be dead. Come on, he needs to be dead. Izuru needs to be dead, and I don't think anyone else is injured. I think everyone else is pretty much alive. A few captains got their bankai stolen, so what's gonna happen to them? They're no longer, they're no longer gonna be as strong as they were without their bankai. So are they gonna keep their captain position? How they're gonna reclaim their bankais? It's a lot of things to be explained basically, and obviously Yamamoto's funeral needs to be done, but there's no body to bury him, so what the hell? So yeah, it's gonna be dark times for Soul Society, and literally, we need to see the freaking Zero Squad now, and the Royal Realm. We need to see what's going on with them because they should be arriving, as Jurabach says. With Soul Society pretty much defeated, they need to take, front seat now and then lead the way. So yeah, ratings for this chapter, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Really good chapter, enjoyed it. Obviously we're gonna get explanation, so I'm not gonna bitch about it. We're gonna get more of background, backstory on why Ichigo's mom and his Quincy abilities, and hopefully that's gonna get explained properly. And yeah, just see more of my favorite characters again. But yeah, guys, that's my review. Stay tuned for the big three roundup. We're gonna me, Reese, and Raph, we're gonna do a discussion of all the mangas that came out this week. Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Sorry, Naruto isn't coming out this week, but we Bleach and One Piece, and maybe Reborn. So yeah, as I said before, any mangas you want us to read and review, drop a comment, let us know, and we'll have a look at it. All right, guys, take care.